This is Chicago's very own WGN Midday News.
And still to come in today's Midday Fix, don't trash those Christmas trees just yet. We are learning how to get the most out of your holiday purchase by reusing parts of that tree for other things around the house.
Hey, don't haul out your live Christmas trees to the trash just yet. In today's Midday Fix, we're getting ideas on how to repurpose those trees. Now that the holiday is over, To Bloom is back with us. And before we get started, we have to mention that To is planning a trip out to the Grammy Awards, where he is the official botanical artist. Now, you've been doing that for a while, going out there and helping.
Yeah, actually going on 7 years.
How did you get that job?
You know what? I actually started doing work for one of my clients here, and then he has a home out in Cali, and then that started. They're like, "Have you seen this guy's work?" And then I started that. It was like history from there. And I'm just like, "Hey, have you guys ever had flowers on the red carpet?" And Neil Portnow, the president of the Recording Academy, is like, "No, you know what? I'll have my people call you." And I was like, "Okay," and they did, and it was like kind of history from there.
Now, this isn't just showing up with 2 bouquets and putting them somewhere.
No,
this is a big deal. How long are you going to be out there, and how much work goes into this?
It takes about 6 months plus to plan it. So right around this time of the year, which is kind of like a slow season in Chicago for landscapers and garden designers, of course, we start to collectively look for different foliage, different flowers that we're looking for as far as what would look good, and match that with the characteristics that the set designers or the production team at the Recording Academy set up. So, and then we try to blend that in and see where we can source that product out once we get to Cali. So the first 2 weeks of February is going to be chaos, of course. It's not only Valentine's Day where everybody's, fighting over red roses, but we'll be there trying to kind of see what is appropriate for the red carpet and make sure that timing is key. So we make sure that every bloom, every bud, every leaf is just pristine and actually blooms perfectly for the red carpet's opening.
Well, we're not going to let you go to LA quite yet. We don't want you to be there yet. We want to talk about something here at home and what folks can do to maybe repurpose their Christmas trees. What's the simplest thing maybe we could do with a tree like this?
Simplest thing is actually just taking the tree out. Now, we were going to use a smaller tree today, but, when we were actually driving right around the corner, they set out 12 of these just laying down on the curbside, and we're like, no, we can't do that. So one of the best things to do is to actually make this a bird sanctuary for your garden. If you have a setting where you can actually stake this outside or just have it, dig a small hole if you can, if the ground's not too frozen, and just set it outside. It's a perfect backdrop for your garden where nobody's even going to know whether or not it's cut or it's rooted, but it's great for birds. You can add more as far as like string popcorns, use pine cones that are use pine cones with peanut butter that have like bird seeds on it. I mean, there's just so much you could do for it to kind of attract birds. And I kind of miss seeing the Cardinals and the Blue Jays. And this is one of the best ways to actually bring them around, is to get them happy, of course, with food, lure them in, So that's one of the easiest ways to use your old Christmas tree. The other thing, too, is, a lot of us have garland, live garland, that we string up throughout the holiday season. And as far as temperatures go, I mean, today is crazy. It's like 55 plus today. And so what happens is, as you may know, is trees and different plants are coming out of dormancy because they think, okay, we've had our frost or cooling period. So you can actually take live garland that will otherwise just brown anyways and actually lay that around either a container or a planter that has like precious perennials that are growing in there. You can also just lay them straight over your garden to help insulate the ground, because one of the biggest killers of perennials too throughout the winter is the high fluctuation of heat, frost and thaw. So again, live garland is a great use of it, and then of course the foliage on your tree, of course, you could literally you could take them down and you could just kind of lay them all over an area, a patched area that will help actually provide almost like a winter jacket for your perennials.
And it doesn't seem like it takes very much then to provide that jacket. I think some folks may be concerned that I'm not a botanical artist. I'm going to have to cut up a whole lot of things, but that's not the case at all.
Literally, just cut up some branches, cover your garden, and it's pretty too, because all we see right now is, I mean, just
Brown.
Brown.
A lot of brown
and
out there
gray.
right now.
Brown and gray is what we have now. So this will stay green actually until probably the first sign of spring, actual spring at the end of May. The other thing too is if you take this, you know, of course, you know, be careful with the saws at home, but if you take this and do cross sections, depending on how big your trees are, you can do cross sections of the whole trunk up. You can actually make mini drink coasters, which are, you know, it's really kind of like shabby chic. It's that rustic look.
Something to use this upcoming weekend. If you have friends coming over, you don't trust them to put their drinks down for that New Year's Eve party. Now, how much of this could we use? I mean, all the way up as long as you take the branches
literally
off?
can use it all the way up. The other thing too is once you start cutting up all the way towards the tip, you can cut up, you know, you can cut a certain thickness to the trunk where. If any of you out there have done container gardening, you know we have stained our decks, we have stained our concrete patio because the planters just kind of sit there and water, etc. But you can actually elevate your planters using these tiny little coasters to add interest and height to your container gardens as well.
And I also want to make sure that we mention this as well because if I'm not, I wish you folks could
smell.
I mean, is this just because it was a fresh tree? I mean, it just smells wonderful.
Literally. That's a combination of the Douglas fir with some cedar that was from the live garland. You throw it into a Ziploc bag, of course. I'm not great at sewing. I'm a gardener, so I don't pretend to be, good at sewing, but you throw it in a Ziploc bag, take some toothpicks and pierce the bags, and you could actually just throw it in a dresser drawer or hang it on a hanger. It is that smell is amazing. You know, it gets kind of like that stagnant smell.
Much better than something that's a chemical, something that you sort of. And I know we have a lot more tips and questions that folks maybe have for you, and folks can, of course, find you at twobloom.com. Is that correct? And, of course, you can reach him through Twitter and Facebook and everything else as well. And if you want to watch this segment over, or maybe you have more interest in what's going on here, you can always watch it once again on WGNTV.com/midday. Guys, great ideas to repurpose that tree.